Jai Gurudev. Gurudev, thank you for so much for taking the time to speak with us today about the Astavakra Gita. Could you please share your insights on how this ancient text can be practically applied in our daily lives? The Astavakra Gita is a profound dialogue on the nature of the self and consciousness. To practically apply its teachings, the first step is to cultivate purity of speech. For the next 5 days, let's all commit to not speaking any harsh words, observing what happens. You will find that the world does not fall apart, and in fact, it becomes more nourishing and enriching for your life. That's a beautiful practice, Gurudev. How does purity of speech contribute to one's spiritual journey according to the Ashtavakra Gita? Purity of speech is essential because our words carry vibrations that affect our mind and surroundings. When we refrain from speaking harshly, we begin to cultivate a more serene and positive environment. This practice is the first step toward culturing the mind, which is crucial for anyone interested in the teachings of the Ashtavakra Gita. You mentioned culturing the mind. Could you elaborate on what that entails? Culturing the mind involves practicing meditation and experiencing stillness. The Ashtavakra Gita is not just for intellectual understanding, it requires a meditative state to truly grasp its essence. If someone has never meditated or experienced the stillness of the mind, they should refrain from merely reading this text without a calm and centered mind. The profound knowledge can become a mere concept, leading to false notions and misunderstandings. So, meditation is a prerequisite for understanding the Ashtavakra Gita. Absolutely. Meditation brings about restful alertness, which is essential for absorbing the teachings of the Ashtavakra Gita. It is about recognizing your true self beyond concepts and words. Before driving into this knowledge, ensure you have a practice of meditation. It is like preparing the soil before planting a seed. Gurudev, what if someone feels intellectually knowledgeable but hasn't meditated? Can they still benefit from the Ashtavakra Gita? Intellectual understanding alone is not enough. Those who believe they know it all without experiencing the stillness of meditation are more ignorant than those who admit their lack of knowledge. The Ashtavakra Gita is not just for gaining information, it is for transforming one's consciousness. Therefore, a practice of meditation is necessary to benefit from this profound text. How can one develop the discipline required to practice the teachings of the Ashtavakra Gita? Discipline starts with simple daily practices. Engage in some physical exercise, eat moderately, and maintain the purity of your body. Just as we discipline our body, we must also discipline our speech and mind. Refrain from speaking harsh words and make time for meditation every day. Even if mundane tasks seem pressing, prioritize your meditation. This self awareness and discipline are the foundations for understanding and living the teachings of the Ashtavakra Gita. You spoke about the importance of awareness over judgment. Could you explain how one can avoid self judgment while striving for discipline? It is important to observe yourself without judgment. Awareness without judgment is key. If you find yourself choosing mundane tasks over meditation, don't condemn yourself. Instead, simply be aware of your choices. Self judgment can undermine your efforts and lead to negative self talk. Recognize your actions and gently guide yourself back to your practice. In terms of practical steps, how can one achieve freedom as described in the Ashtavakra Gita? Freedom, according to the Ashtavakra Gita, comes from recognizing our attachments and letting go of them. We often find ourselves stuck with both pleasant and unpleasant experiences, material possessions, and even knowledge. To achieve freedom, one must detach from these bindings. It is about cultivating a sense of detachment while living in the world, finding joy in simplicity and not getting entangled in desires or aversions. Gurudev, you mentioned a story about Mullah Nasruddin. How does this story relate to the teachings of the Ashtavakra Gita? The story of Mullah Nasruddin on his deathbed illustrates how people often repent for things they have or have not done. This aligns with the Ashtavakra Gita's teachings that we are stuck with what we have and what we don't have. The key is to transcend these regrets and live in the present moment with awareness and detachment. This awareness brings freedom from the mental bondage of desires and regrets. What role does control of the senses play in understanding the Ashtavakra Gita? Control of the senses, especially the tongue, is crucial. The tongue has dual functions, speech and taste. It can lead us astray in both directions if not controlled. By mastering our speech and being mindful of what we say, we can cultivate a harmonious life. This control also helps in developing deeper self-awareness and aids in the meditative practices necessary for understanding the Ashtavakra Gita. How can one use speech effectively to enrich their speech as per the teachings? Speech has the power to make or break relationships, to bring people closer, and to create a harmonious atmosphere. Whether you tell the truth or lie, the way you use your speech can impact your entire life. Effective and kind speech can make the whole world your own. bringing all the wealth of human connection and understanding into your life. The key is to use speech with awareness and compassion, always aiming to uplift and support others. Finally, Gurudev, what is the ultimate message of the Astavakra Gita for those on the spiritual path? The ultimate message of the Astavakra Gita is to recognize your true self beyond all concepts and attachments. It is about experiencing the vastness of your own consciousness and living from that space of freedom and joy. To truly benefit from this knowledge, cultivate purity in your speech, discipline in your practice, and detachment from worldly entanglements. In this way, you will find a profound sense of peace and fulfillment on your spiritual journey. Thank you, Gurudev, for sharing these profound insights on the Ashtavakra Gita. Your words have been truly enlightening. It has been my pleasure. Remember, the journey of self discovery is ongoing. Keep practicing with sincerity and awareness, and the teachings will reveal themselves more deeply as you progress. Jai Gurudev.